All right, guys, my bad. I was finishing up this article real quick. Shout out to, God damn it. All right, my bad, guys. We are here. We are live. The news is broken. I am just trying to get everything here situated. New day. Leave WWE. Save. Okay. Sorry, guys. As y'all know, I don't just stream. I'm a writer, a journalist, and I work for several websites and magazines. And so I just am finishing up my article covering the scoop. Shout out to Sean Ross Sapp, and I think it was Corey Hayes as well, right? From oh shit. God damn it. Okay. Just sent in my piece for fightsatw.com. You can go check that. Okay. Guys, listen, this is crazy breaking news. It just happened a little while ago. Everybody's still reeling from this. Let me finish posting my TikTok. Wait, what the fuck? No. Come on, dude. Don't. Oh, the whole thing crashed. That's all right. Fuck it. Damn it. That's messed up. I literally had it almost done, dude. Oh, here it is. Hell yeah. Okay. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods of the New Day officially left WWE. Now, reports are saying that TKO would restructure their deal, which they just signed not too long ago, off the basis of their heel turn. And all right. Anyway, yeah. So listen, we are going to get to this. Mex said shoot him the link. Let me I'm gonna send it to the text, Max. So Agon361, shout out to, I think that's Adam, actually, said they can't go anywhere by Wednesday. 90 days still apply since they were still under contract. And that is true. I'm seeing that Sean Ross Sapp is saying that there's a 90-day contract. I don't see how that can be. I really don't. I really, really don't. And it pisses me off. And here's the thing. I'm gonna get a little probably more mad than I should, because this kind of stuff hits a little personal for me. I am somebody who's worked in a business long enough to know that deals mean something, right? Your word means something. And at the end of the day, when you come back to somebody and you say, hey, we're going to restructure this deal, you're saying, I've reneged. I don't want to hold up my side of this bargain. Things have changed on my end. And the very least in that moment is getting rid of the non-compete clause. Now, obviously, you're a fucking suit and you're running TKO and WWE. They're gonna say things like, fuck it, right? It is what it is. And that's fine. And obviously, they're not gonna want to give a 90-day compete clause. But when you ask yourself, like, where these guys have been, what they've been doing, it's very clear what's going on here, guys. It's very, very clear if you have not been paying attention, because they mutually agreed. So I'm sure WWE said, we will give you your release, but we don't want you on anybody's TV for 90 days. Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. But it's like a situation where they wanted their release. They didn't want their release. They were put in a position where they asked for their release, right? Like, it's not
like, it's not me quitting if they say, hey, Mario, you got a raise. We're going to give you a raise and you're going to make $100 every article you write. And I'm like, awesome. This is so cool. Yeah, dude, I'm going to stay here for like the next 3 years. And they're like, then they come back and they're like, you know what, though? We're not going to do that, actually. We're just going to go ahead and pay you less. Is that cool? Can we just pay you less? And I'm like, well, no, I could have gotten more at that other website. Like, I would have just signed there. And they're like, well, we're not going to pay you what we wanted to pay you or what we said we were going to pay you. So you're going to need a restructure. And it's like, well, I don't want to restructure. I don't want to get paid less than what I am worth. So no, what then you're just, I'm not going to work here then, right? I guess you're gonna have to release me. I guess I'm gonna have to leave. And then in that moment, it's like, yes. And then because we're the first ones that broke our side of the contract, WWE, we broke our contract. Then we should give you all fucking room to go anywhere. And then here's the other part. Who gives a fuck? Like, they haven't even been on TV. Like, and this is why Nick Khan, I'm sorry, and Ari Emanuel, they're just fucking retards. Like, this is what happens to billionaires when they make a shit ton of money. They think they're so smart and they know everything about everything. And the truth is, they're fucking morons and they're lost. Joe Rogan sucks their dick. Like, oh, you know how much a billionaire works? No, I fucking don't, because they bitch asses take Skype meetings and the motherfuckers have a million people doing the in and out jobs. So at the end of the day, no, I'm never going to be on the side of the fucking billionaire company that wants to just shed a little money, right? At the sake of talent, at the sake of professionals. That's just bullshit. Treating a fucking team like the New Day this way, crazy to me. And I'm telling y'all right now, this is going to have reverberations on the sport. I'm telling y'all right now. See, y'all don't remember last year when I covered this topic during the summer and the news was going around saying that Roman Reigns was going to be asked to restructure his deal, right? This was all rumors, and they were saying, and Roman was getting mad. He was getting angry at these rumors, suggesting that he's not worth whatever top dollar they were paying, suggesting that, you know, he's just one of the bunch. And that is true. He is just one of the bunch now. Just like Conor McGregor, just like Jones in the UFC. This is the same situation we're seeing where the talent that has gotten to a certain place and deserves respect, ultimately they don't get it because they're not pushing the money envelope far enough anymore. In all serious, in no disrespectful way at all, I think Paige was a factor in Xavier leaving. What? She makes much more money for WWE than the New Day currently, and it's much less awkward now backstage. I think that's a stretch, Alex, because they were in the company together. They did a rap verse. The Usos did a bar about Xavier doing X-rated with Paige on the roster. So I don't think it's that. I really, really doubt it's that. Here's the other part. Paige is going to be like probably one half of the tag team champion for like the next 2 months, and then they're literally not going to do shit with her. I highly doubt Paige was a factor. A lot of the boys and girls have been together. It's not that serious. That would apply more to maybe Alberto. Yeah, like if he was like if it was somebody like abusive or like fucking crazy or some shit like that, then yeah, I think that's where it would definitely matter. But I don't know. It sucks that society says that Paige has to be more embarrassed about it than Xavier. Like, I'll be honest, like if Xavier's my boy, I'm gonna be like, so were you staring at his dick like the whole time? Was that what was making this fun for you? Like, what? I don't understand. Why did you both go in there at the same time? Like, and you were filming it too, like an auteur. Like you were Steven Spielberg in that shit, bitch. We saw you. We saw you, champ. Like that's how I would be. You know what I mean? So like obviously it's not as awkward for him, but he said, "Hey, that's cool. Send the link." My bad. Let me do that. I have adult ADHD. Bow, 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 bow. I have adult ADHD. Bow, 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 bow. Okay. My house. Fine house. Did I not send the link? What the fuck is going on? No, I did not. All right. That's stupid. Okay. Max, I'm just gonna put it in the chat. I don't know what happened. I tried to send it from my email. Didn't work. All right. Chat's open. Okay, so let me just read these real quick. Ooh, poor New Day. Horrible to be decorated tag team and have made tons of money, and now they are stale and nobody cares. We offered to still keep you under a restructured deal. Max, you're a bitch. You know that? You're a bitch, bro. You're a bitch for that. I'm telling you right now, you are a baby back bitch for this comment right here. This one right here, baby back bitch shit. Like, think about the retardedness of what you just said. Okay. Oh, here, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's take out the New Day, right? And let's put someone who's as seasoned, and let's see if this makes sense. Ooh, poor Bloodline. How horrible to be a decorated tag team and have made money, and now they're stale. Oh, that sounds true. The Bloodline is stale. Why do they keep getting pushed? Why do they keep getting chances to continue to get over even when things fall flat on their ass? Why on earth would you use the word stale when you saw, as I did, the last awesome run of the New Day get cut into shit by WWE and Triple H and Creative because they had no fucking clue what to do with them? Shout out to Bruce Gas in the chat. Mix, I want you to understand this, right? Because what you're basically saying is there's no need to respect the people that we watch go in the ring and do the shit they do. That you would rather them respect the company that has the fucking MBA? That's what you respect? The college guys that fucking got their suit on and crunching numbers? That's who you're siding with? Because I'm siding with the talent. I'm siding with the people that have gone out there for years and have made it so that I can enjoy this game that we love, and that is pro wrestling. And ultimately, you respect, I think that's Mex. This is logical person. Champion.
Go on, continue.
Okay, so here's the situation, right? Where do we start? Where do we stop, Mex? Fuck Troy Aikman? Should the Cowboys build a statue with somebody pissing on his face? Or should we get Jordan and make a doll of him and bring him to the Chicago and mime rape him in the middle of halftime? Should we do that? How else can we disrespect
Troy Aikman
and the people that we love that have helped to build these places? Let me tell you this. Without the New Day, the WWE isn't as over as they are today. They're a level down from where they were. And so ultimately, what does it say about a company who sheds the people that build them up, the people that literally help build this structure? It's one thing to cut a guy like Escobar, right? You're a moron for signing him in the first place for 7 figures. But it's another thing to take the most beloved aspects of our promotion and whittle them down to shit as if they don't matter. Like, I'm sorry, this idea that we need to appease Roman and Cody and literally everyone else can fuck off, that's just a fucked up, that's a fucked up notion of things. It really is. It's a fucked up notion. Like, imagine if you and I went back to the Boxing Voice, like 10 years from now, right? And like, Ness was like, oh yeah, we built a hall of shame for y'all. You're in the hall of shame and you're in the hall of shame and y'all are pieces of shit and y'all didn't do this because I wanted y'all to do that. Like, at the end of the day, we helped make that brand. Our blood and sweat, the time that we spent for free a lot of times, by the way, on that air helped to build those airwaves. Ness knows it. I know it. You know it. The community knows it. And at the end of the day, I deserve respect when I go on there. If I don't get it, then I'm going to fucking take it. And at the end of the day, the New Day, that's why I respect, because they just took that shit. They said, well, fuck it. We're gone then, bitch. You don't think that we can't fucking make clout in AEW? You don't think that we, like, bro, first of all, them dudes understand this era of Twitch, this era of Kick, right? Isn't Nick Khan and them dudes that are played out? Ultimately, all I know is that for you to use the word stale is so unfair, because at the end of the day, you're pigeonholing them and putting them in the box for something that's not their fault. They got fucking played out. They got duped into re-signing at a time when their name was the hottest IP. And Mex, we continue to see this over and over again. This is the same thing that happened with Escobar. They didn't want to have him leave the company. They wanted him to be fired. They wanted that narrative. Same thing with R-Truth, right? They didn't give a fuck about him. Cut his ass. All of these corporate billionaire cuts and this idea of nothing is sacred goes against the entire semblance of what wrestling means to us.
All right. Now hold your passion. That was lovely.
Like that.
I'm glad you were fired up there. Number one, Troy Aikman was released by the Dallas Cowboys at the end of his career. Yeah?
No.
You gonna bet?
That's not what happened.
Troy Aikman was released from the Cowboys. He didn't retire as a Cowboy. He was actually in negotiations to play for the Dolphins. There was even some rumors of him playing for the Eagles.
Oh, yeah. He was released.
Em-
Damn, I forgot that. The move was driven by
Emmett
several
Smith.
salary cap restrictions and concerns regarding his health, specifically after he suffered a career concussion.
Emmitt Smith was let go by the Cowboys to play for the Cardinals. These
That was
things happen,
different,
man.
though. That was different. That was 100% different. He didn't want to go anywhere, but they couldn't afford to keep him. And at the end of the day, he needed to break the record. That was completely different. That was actually respect
Right.
that the Cowboys
So,
showed him.
The New Day didn't want to go anywhere, but WWE didn't want to continue to pay them what they were worth. So they said, "Hey, well, we can mutually agree to let you go." I look, man. When is the last time we even saw the New Day in anything of substance?
I'll tell you, it was their heel turn last January. They were doing some of the best fucking work. It was literally some of the best stuff on WWE TV.
It was channel changing
Then they
TV.
shit on Big E, and you loved it, Mex. You loved that
Yeah,
shit. I remember.
no.
They
And-
shit on Big E, and we were so excited. We were like, oh my God, this is going to be like a real fucking New Day type of gimmick.
And the
and then
build
nothing,
was
right?
Yeah, we got no match. We got no Big E
The
managing the team.
storyline.
Right. And look, I think I know you're upset about the no conflict clause. I think it's better than them just getting paid to just be on the shelf for the next hour the fuck long the deal was. The New Day had an incredible run. They've never been the same since Big E was injured. I think we can agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
It just wasn't there. You know, it's something. Kofi's been in WWE for over 20 years. You know,
Yo, that's crazy.
Woods was there since what, 2010,
At least,
2011.
right? I remember he was in that NXT documentary that they had.
Yeah, I mean, he was, Consequences Creed and TNA when TNA was popping. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it was long past time for the New Day to be out of there. I think they squeezed a few more ounces of juice out of that lemon than I would have given them. And hey, look, if anything, I think it just sets them up for, if they go have a run in AEW or maybe Japan, for when they do come back, they'll be fresh and hot and ready to go.
Yeah, I that's a fair point. Look, Alex said this, and man, I didn't think of this. Kofi is going to have a hard time because he's going to have to get a new ring name. World knows Austin Creed. I don't know if the world knows Austin Creed, but Austin Creed is definitely a name that is better known. What will Kofi Kingston name himself? Something not Jamaican. Let's hope.
We read something that Kofi, I mean, his first name is actually Kofi, so
he
could just, so he owns that. He just doesn't own the Kingston. So he could just run as Kofi. Or something stupid.
I think that even works better. Yeah, you're right. Kofi Nahaji Sarkodie Mensa. Yo, all right, let's get it. KNSM.
Yeah, so I mean, he could just run as Kofi, or
no.
like
I think that works.
Or something stupid, KOF.
Yeah. No, that works. Okay, so now let me ask you this. Okay, because you're the resident AEW hater. Be honest. All right, what
My
are in
username is
your
what it's correct. I'm a logical person.
in your mind, in your opinion, how does the New Day AEW partnership work? Can they get over? Do they fit in there? Do you think that it works out? Are
Dude,
there
so
egos or
that's where
dicks
I'm
too
actually
big for that
excited,
locker
man.
room?
Like if AEW does this right, man, you still have Edge and Christian there. You got FTR, the Young Bucks. Fucking put I mean, are the Acclaim together or not? Every time I look, I can't tell. But those are some solid teams that they could go up against. You know, the Acclaimed, the Young Bucks, FTR,
FTR,
uh,
yeah.
Private
Even
Party, Edge and
oh, I
Edge and
like that.
Christian, Edge and Christian and Kofi and Woods. That's come on, bro.
That's a sick booking right
So
there.
there's like I said, there's plenty for them to do. And bro, then you have what is it? What are they called now? The Hurt Business or
Oh
the
yeah,
Hurt
yeah,
Syndicate, whatever the hell they are there.
yeah. The Hurt
I mean,
Syndicate.
there's plenty of work there, dude. They could even come in and join. And I mean, I could actually see them coming in so they can give Lashley, put him. I mean, now that I think about it, the most sense to me, Mario, is to bring them in with MVP so that Lashley can go and be in the world title picture where he needs to be. You know, you have Sheldon coming up and going after the TNT title or whatever 75 belts they have there. And then you have uh Kofi and Woods or Creed running the tag division, maybe even the trios with MVP. I mean, that's what you do. You put the New Day with the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, I would like to see that for sure. I will say this though, it's a little limp dick without Big E, right? Like I love Kingston and Woods, and they're great, but the act was a trio, and it's like trying to make the four horsemen the three horsemen. You know what I mean?
That's
It's
why I
like
say the
it
Hurt
doesn't work.
Syndicate would be the way to go because you can keep them as a team, but you put them in the group and let them let them be
Ooh,
like because right now, Mario, you look at the New Day at the end, they've kind of been a joke. They've been a campy, kind of,
very
kid
much so,
friendly
very much
team.
so.
Let them go in and
But that's
be
the WWE.
shit heels. Right. So let them go in with the
Oh,
Hurt Syndicate and be shit heels and
oh, I would
really
love
just,
that.
man, work the tag division under the banner of the group. And, honestly, if you remember,
The
we were
Hurt
talking
Day.
about
Yo,
the Hurt
Matt,
Day. I love that.
love it.
If you remember when the Hurt Business or whatever I can't, I don't know which name is which.
Hurts a dude.
When they were first coming together in WWE, remember they were originally going to be like the new nation of domination. Well, looking like you're doing a line of cocaine on air is crazy. I know that's not what you're doing, but
My bad.
you
Okay, thank you for
you
telling me
really
because I didn't want
you
anybody.
really
It's like,
bent down wild. Like yeah, that looked that looked was but anyways, no, so like remember they were originally supposed to be like a nation of domination. They had Farouk backstage and Mark. Why not run with obviously you can't be the nation of domination, but with the climate and especially how political some of the AEW fans are, this is the perfect place for that.
what's the black thing called online? Where they're like, it's like kind of white supremacy for black people. What's it called? You know what I'm talking about?
Uh, uh
It's not FDR. What's it called?
oh,
Fundamentalist Black
BLM.
Americans.
Oh,
FBA.
there you go.
Yo, if they did like a version of that, oh my god, I swear to God, it would be the
Yeah,
best
like I
TV
don't think
ever.
you need to be like
It would
Black
be the
Panther
best
Party,
TV
right?
ever.
But
No,
like a
no, no, of course
modern.
not. No, no, see, and that's gonna make it campy. That makes it. I'm not saying that's racist. I'm saying that's not good. So
No,
people that are
because it's
like
not logical for
dumbasses
this
are gonna
day and
come out and say it's
age.
racist. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like you could do it like super nuanced, right? Just like how you're
Yeah,
saying. Like I love this idea. Honestly, it works in a lot of ways. Here's what I'm afraid of, Mex. I'm gonna tell you. I'm afraid of Tony Khan doing exactly what he's done in every single one of these situations, just shitting the bed on it. Because at the end of the day, we
yeah,
had the chance to have the Hardys and Cope and Christian, all in this thing, and this place was supposed to be the tag team promotion. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't feel like Kofi and Woods, they're just too good to blow it. But at the same time, it's like, give AEW a chance.
That-
They'll
That's
blow
what I'm
it.
saying. I think if you're smart, right? Like if me and you are booking, and I'm in the
I don't
booking
agree
room
with
with
Matt.
you right now, Mario, I'm like, hey, look how good they looked as potential heels. Bring them in. Like I said, to me, I'm thinking we're bringing them in with the hurt business. We're gonna make them look like you bring them in obviously as the campy side of themselves at first,
Oh,
right?
yeah. And then they
Then you
go
have the
heel.
heel turns, and
You're
then
absolutely
then
right.
then you get them. You show an aggressive, dark, mean side, and honestly, if you're talking about money, you're talking about the power of like the NWO. You let the Hurt Syndicate, Lashley, Sheldon, the New Day, uh, MVP. You just start having them dominate the locker room. I mean,
Yeah, and
just
they could make that
running
work
through
so
people.
well too. So well. Here's the thing. I don't agree with Matt. By the way, I'm so glad that you weren't looking at the screen because you missed the monster just fucking came in my eye, dude. Like hard. And it
Well,
burns.
yeah, I know you don't
Uh
like getting cum in your eye.
Matt said they should go to TNA if we're really talking about what they should do. No. Yeah, okay, here's the thing.
They're too
That
big
I
for that
think would
still.
have been I think that would have been the move if TNA was not in position to be WWE's bitch boy right now. Like it just feels like you're getting cut and going to NXT, honestly, when you go to TNA. And I know that's not the same thing. I know that. It's just that's what it feels like right now. Like you
And
got the
there's not
president of
really,
TNA going on podcasts sounding like he's just glucking up WWE. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
and they're like you said, they're just a feeder system at this point. I mean,
yes,
I
exactly.
I,
Even though I
I
love Mike Santana,
based
go ahead, my bad.
on based on what because I brought up in our group chat, right? Like Kofi's kind of hitting on a lot of things WWE wise lately, right? He was really going off about Lesnar and like, oh my God, finally somebody's he's made comments on Twitter, and I know he's supposed to be a heel character, but I feel like a lot of those are like that's frustration from a creative standpoint because they
Very well
were
said.
they were hamstruck. I don't
Very
think
well
them
said.
getting released is a bad thing. I think this is something that it's best for both parties.
I actually agree with you. I actually very much agree with you. I think you're right. And here's the thing. The only thing that and it doesn't make me mad. I'm not mad, right? The only thing that bothers me is that because like okay, look, I'm gonna try to sound I really don't want to sound like a piece of shit here. And I'm gonna sound like I think I'm smarter than everybody, but I swear to God I don't. I swear to God I don't. But this is what I know. I know how smart people at that level are. I know how crafty they are. I know that everything they do is subjugated with a think tank behind it, right? And them telling them, no, this is the way to go, right? So when you go out and you do certain things or you say certain things, you're looking to get a certain appeal. You're looking to, paint yourself in a certain light. All I know is right now, if I am not legend, a future legend in WWE, if I'm a guy like Seth Rollins, if I'm a guy like Jey Uso, I don't know if I'm on board right now with everything that's going on. I don't know if I'm counting down the days. And then when you're Nick Khan and you're these guys and you don't realize what you're letting go at what certain times, right? This is how Hogan and the NWO made WCW so appealing, right? And so when they look at Nick Khan, when Nick Khan looks at that time, he says, why did the NWO succeed? He says to himself, because Scott Hall came right off of WWE TV and went straight on to WCW, and it gave everybody an inference that they could not take back. WWE had to sue them for what they were doing because everybody believed that Vince sent them over there, and it was all storyline,
But
right? So
in that situation,
no, go
oh,
ahead.
go
I'm
ahead, go
sorry.
ahead. I was gonna say the difference in that situation though is remember is Nash and Hall gave their notice, so this they had time to come up with a plan and think. The New Day right now getting fired on or not fired, but leaving the company Saturday to just show up on Wednesday. I think it's beneficial because they're gonna have time to come up with something, you know. And I believe Woods especially is a creative enough guy to tell Tony, hey, let's lay out a plan. We're gonna do X, Y, Z. I don't see him going anywhere but AEW either. I don't see what else would make sense for them.
Yeah, I agree to a degree. But I think ultimately it just is gonna like I don't know. I think it just depends on a lot of different
And
situations.
and
Real
it
quick
doesn't,
before
to me.
go ahead.
I feel like we're in a day and age, like, if we didn't have such a strong social media, like, where we know everything, the New Day showing up on Wednesday would be like absolutely nuts, right?
It would be
But
nuts.
right now, because we know they just got released and WWE wasn't planning on doing much with them, I just feel like if you're AEW, if you had them Wednesday, it would kind of still make you look Bush League, and you want to look like a competitor, even if you're
I,
not. You want to
I
present yourself as you're a competitor.
I agree with you that that does happen most of the time, and I'll agree with you that like 90% of the roster would suffer through that. I don't think the New Day would, dude. I really don't. I'm not debating you on this point because I think I'd lose. I just have this feeling that there are certain people that are bulletproof from that. And I think the New Day are them. Don't get me wrong, the New Day can go down in flames in AEW, right? But let me ask you this before I get to the next question I want to ask you. Matt says they'll be more relevant in TNA than they would AEW. I want to ask you what you think about that, with the preference that Woods was a major character in TNA. He has a legacy there that they can build off of. But what do you think? Do they get bigger? Does their brand become more valuable the moment they step foot in the door of AEW or the moment they step foot in the door of TNA?
Yeah, I don't see what he's seeing.
Me neither. Me neither.
Um,
I don't. Other than the
because
Kofi, other than the Wood stuff, but that's not, the era
but
is
even
completely
then,
different.
so even then, right? Because they're working so well together. I mean, why would they not just be the New Day in TNA? I mean, because if you go there and you're not, and now he's back because of their working relationship with WWE. If they go there and he shows up as Austin Creed, now he just kind of looks like a stupid ass because they're interacting with WWE talent. Um, and look, TNA is doing better and they're getting better, as time goes on, but they're like you said it best. They're just a feeder system for the WWE.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to ask you this. By the way, this is let's see who wrote this. Oh, this is Fight8. Oh, it was me. Mario Mugia wrote it. How cool. Go to fights8tw.com right now, bookmark the website, and read my stuff. Go into the search everything I've ever read,
Yeah, give
written,
everything a
and then you
click.
read it now. By the way, these were fire outfits the day that, or the year, was that last year, right? These were they paid homage to Giant Gonzalez. And even though Giant Gonzalez's look terrible and stupid, these look fire, dude. These are fire. Anyway, all right.
See,
So,
but even then,
next,
at that point,
uh,
I just felt like at that point they were kind of just not. It,
this was already months after they cooled
yeah,
off, though.
even like even before the heel turn, which I thought was going to give him life, it didn't. I just feel like the New Day had kind of ran its course. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, of course it did. No. You're absolutely right, dude. You're absolutely right. Um, let me see. Where are we at? Oh, okay. So go to Fights ATW, read my story. Now, Mex, I want to ask you this. As we read a little bit more, we find out post-Mania cuts are nothing new, but seeing Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods on that list just a week after the last cut certainly qualifies as a new day in the WWE. Along with the record-breaking tag team champs, MFT's JC Mateo and Tonga Loa were also part of the talent departing from WWE, as first reported by Sean Ross Sapp and Corey Hayes. Shout out to SRS. So Max, I want to ask you a question. All right. And obviously you can be honest with me here, and because you always are. What do you think of do you believe that they knew these guys were getting cut, being that Jacob Fatu squashed them 2 weeks ago, and then this week they were written off TV specifically with the idea that Jacob Fatu hurt all their pussies and they couldn't come back? That was I'm not saying that's what he said literally, but that's like figuratively
Yeah,
what Solo
I
was
think.
saying. Jacob Fatu, you've broken the pussies of all my MFTs and they're gone. And now two of them are cut, and it makes it look like storyline wise that Jacob Fatu ran them out of the out of the company.
Yeah, I think if anything, Solo and maybe Tamatanga are okay. Uh, the rest of these guys,
Solo for sure.
keep your ending bookings open, buddy. Because
You're yo, that's the shirt right there. That's the first Infighting
bro,
FX shirt we doing,
it's so
champ.
crazy,
Keep
right?
your indie bookings going, champ. I like that. Hey, it's better than a fucking peptide shirt. I'll tell you that. Shout out to Nesto, champ.
Yeah, shout out peptides. But because I mean, it's it's uh it's
oh my bad.
appalling to me though, because they had like we went, me and Matt went to took the kids to WWE, and they had an 8-man tag, and now everybody but like 3 guys is not with the company, and
They're
that
all
was
gone.
just,
They're all
and
gone,
that was a
bro.
major, like, that was not a
That
major,
was a
but it was a
major.
very prominent feud.
It was a major feud. It was a prominent feud. 1000%. Listen to me. That thing spanned 8 months. Eight
Yeah, and it's
months
just
that thing
like the
spanned.
feud ended,
That
and
was the
now,
longest feud
and
running if you don't count Rhea and Io Sky, because that feud turned into a partnership that turned into a feud. So if you don't count that, that was the longest running narrative on WWE TV.
and think about it too, right? The way we should have known something was up. Now that we look back, because of the way the feud ended, Tomatonga just handed the fucking lantern back, and that was that. Like, there was no match to end it, no blow off match. You just, Tomatonga said, "Hey, this is fucking stupid. Here's your urn back, and or your lantern back, and we're done." And then
Yeah,
everybody got
no,
fired
and it
after that.
felt very creatively inept, right? Like it felt, oh fuck, my
Like
bad.
somebody
Fuck.
decided, like somebody decided, fuck this feud. Let's just end it right now.
Exactly. Well, not even that. It's like somebody said, hey, this program, like, we don't need to have this on TV at all.
Yeah, this sucks.
Strong
Take it off
pivot,
now.
hard pivot, right? Not like a storyline pivot. Because that's the other thing. They could have done like so many different things with this. Do you
And think,
remember? Hey,
because
go ahead. I'm sorry.
go ahead. I was gonna
No,
say,
go
because
ahead.
it
All
looked
right.
like maybe this is a setup for Tomatonga and Solo, and then that hasn't happened.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just,
no. And again, there are narratives you can run. That's what pisses me off about this, is that there are narratives you can run. Dude, I know of all people, you, Mex, are going to remember exactly what I'm about to say. And I love it. I love being able to reference things, and my co-host gets it. Do you remember when Kama Mustafa, also known as the Godfather, also known as Papa Shango, was in a feud with The Undertaker? I think it was Purple and Black, stole his urn and melted it down into a very gaudy, ugly looking chain. Do you remember that?
yes.
Okay. So, ex de facto from that, all right, why didn't Solo and the MFTs turn the lantern into a fleshlight? Here's the thing about that, right? When you do something as disrespectful to like a part of lore for someone spooky, right? Like Danhausen's like casket or Undertaker's urn, you are disrespecting their soul, right? So why, if you wanted to make this thing interesting, didn't you have him refashion that lantern into a fleshlight? That would have kept the
Hor-
program going so strong. Everybody
uh,
would have been so horned up. It would have just been one of the best programs ever.
yeah, fleshlight and horned up is, and you've got cum in your eye already. Um,
It was Monster Come. Chill. I'm not mad at the
but
situation at
no,
all. WWE had nothing for
uh,
you. If you want to stick around, then they would have to take less money. Yeah, that's bullshit. They shouldn't have to. Matt, if I fucking said, hey Matt, I want to hire you to be my co-host, you're so good.
but
I'm
see,
gonna give
hold
you,
on, Mario.
I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna give you $50 a show for an hour. $50 an hour. That's what you're gonna get. And then in 2 years, we're making a shit ton of money. And I come back to you and I say, hey, I know you're working more shows than ever before, but can we take you down to 40 a show? Let's go ahead and restructure that deal of yours. Nah, bro, that's fuck that. Fuck that. You keep your word or I'm gonna fucking slap you in your mouth. Like, that's the problem, is these motherfuckers went to these like Ivy League MBA schools and shit, and they didn't go to no school of hard knocks, because you get slapped when you try to pull shit like that. Like, I went to a
But
school, listen
see,
to me. I grew up on a block where if you shot dice and you were a 9-year-old and you didn't have that money, bro, you were getting fucking slapped up. It didn't matter if you were 9 years old. And that is how you
Listen,
learn to keep your fucking word.
Mario, that sounds like the equivalent we say that try to act gangster in boxing. It's
No,
ridiculous.
no, no, no,
Re-
no, no,
no,
no, no.
hold
See,
on,
that's where
hold
you're
on.
wrong.
Hold your
That's where
passion.
you're wrong.
Hold,
No, because
hold
you're
your
trying to make
passion.
that sound like a gangster shit. Listen to me. Was Cain Velasquez being a gangster to you? Or was he just being a normal father? Just being a normal father, right?
But hold your passion
Probably you could have felt the same
because
way he felt and done some crazy shit like that too, right? So what I'm trying to say is that ultimately it's all how we perceive it, brother. It's how we perceive it, and that respect
but see
extends
that's the thing
mutually. So if they're disrespecting my favorite wrestlers that have been there for a decade, then they're disrespecting me and fans like me, and I'm the motherfucker watching the weekly product. Fuck that noise. Y'all want to bring in Sabrina Carpenter? Y'all want to bring in fucking Jelly Roll? Where are they now? That's what I want to fucking know. Sorry.
see again, hold your passion. Hold your passion. But see, this is the thing, right? I don't we see this in especially sports all the time. How many times have we seen the big, a player that was great in his early days, but now he's a little older, but he doesn't want to leave the team. Hey, look, man, you know you signed a 40-year deal a few years ago, man, but if you want
You're
to stay,
tripping. You're
if you want to stay
tripping
on
with
this
that.
team, we restructure. We're gonna have to restructure.
Stop,
You're gonna take
stop,
less
stop, stop,
money.
stop, 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 stop,
We
stop,
need
stop.
we
No,
need to free
you're
up some money to
okay.
bring up some
Keep
to
going.
bring in
Keep
some
digging
talent.
yourself. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Look,
It's
it's
Super
the
Mex
same
versus Super
concept.
Mex in a buried alive match. He's winning and losing at the same time. Go
If
ahead.
we same like in the NFL or NBA, hey, we need to free up some money to bring in some some better supporting cast, right? Same thing. Hey, man, we're bringing new talent. We'd love to have you, but we're not going to keep you at this price. It
Mm.
it's a part of sports. This is the sports part of sports entertainment.
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that there is a huge difference between what we're seeing here and what we saw, let's say, with the Panthers when what was who's the podcaster that you hate that was a quarterback? Mex.
He hates Cam Newton.
Oh, Matt's the one that hates Cam Newton. I forgot. So when Cam Newton didn't have the ability to ball out, right? Absolutely, bro. Hey, we're gonna have to get this down, dog, or you're gonna have to go out, or you're gonna have to do something. Like either you want to win, we're gonna restructure deals. So somebody like Tom Brady will come in and willingly be like, bro, I want to restructure the deal to get less so we can bring in better talent because now he's a part of that Patriots franchise, right? He is part of that franchise, and what's good for that franchise is good for him. So he doesn't need another 50,000 or a couple 100,000, whatever. He needs a Super Bowl ring. And if that Super Bowl ring means him making like literally like a percentage or two less than he does, he's jumping on that, champ. But the difference between a Cam Newton or a Mike Trout or somebody who ages out and can't hack it is that in WWE, in wrestling, it is that precise experience that gives you the ability to rise in stages that are almost
So
unfounded. And I'll give you an example real quick. CM Punk, for the last year and a half, the narrative has been he can't wrestle anymore. He's not the guy he used to be. He is not a big-time wrestler anymore. He's certainly not the best in the world. Roman Reigns, for a decade, people said he fucking sucks. He's the new John Cena. He's a two-move of doom. And these guys went out and they made one of the best wrestling main events in WrestleMania history. They restructured the way we see main event matches at that level. And so what I'm saying is that kind of value is important to the WWE. Fine, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are not the kind of hot act that you can bring out there and sell a million shirts anymore, but they are the kind of nostalgia act that you can use to bury to bring up other guys. What I'm saying is in wrestling, experience matters over everything because there's roles, there are opportunities, there are moments, and these are the kinds of guys that can go out there and create them. Why do you think Danhausen's working with The Miz? The Miz isn't the best wrestler in the world. He's not some indie darling. No, what he is a very polished media person. And right now, he's giving Danhausen the rub of his life. Pause. And so, again, all of this to me boils down to that. It's this level of you're wasting the best that you have here. The New Day could have put someone over 3 or 4 times. Why didn't we get the Javon Evans, Kofi Kingston run? Why didn't we give them 30 minutes to run something at Backlash? Like that, all I'm saying is that there's value in wrestling with guys that aren't performing the way they used to in ways that it doesn't actually do the same in baseball or football, right? If you suck at that, that's it. You're going to the coaching level, right? But if you suck at wrestling, you're not that guy anymore. You can still go out there and get somebody else over. You can still go out there and be Dolph Ziggler. That's kind of my only thing. Like, it was one thing to cut Dolph Ziggler when you already got a bunch of other Dolph Zigglers that can make other people look good. It's another thing to cut, I think, 2 guys like this. Is Tama Tonga leaving MFT now that Cobb and Tongaloa is out? Is Solo losing everything? Nah, I think Tama Tonga is definitely going to fight with Solo, and it looks like the tallest Tonga is going to get the push. I think. Nah, Solo will be fine.
No.
Yeah,
Taller Tonga is getting fired next, though. They put his ass through that table last night.
Oh shit, I forgot. Yo, Jacob fucking dog walked his ass.
Yeah.
Fucking pop-up Samoan drop, bro.
Now, number one, let me make one thing clear. I never thought CM Punk was looking old and couldn't wrestle. I actually, on your show, go back, make sure you like and subscribe to the show, by the way, in Fighting Effects. But if you go back to the archives, I said they're building CM Punk to look like he can't do it anymore. That's why they keep fucking with him and calling him old, because he's going to put on a classic at some point, if not at Mania. That was me who said that. Just want to make sure that's clear. And Tom Brady was also let go from the Patriots at one point. Those things happen. But listen, that's so if Kofi and Woods hadn't already gotten beat by a ton of teams and a ton of guys, I would agree with you. But I just feel like they right now at the moment they really weren't gonna, a win over them doesn't do much for you, you know. And yes, they can be a nostalgia act, but to quote Jim Cornette, who is one of the greatest minds in wrestling, how can I miss you if you never go away? This is, like I said, this is a good thing for them, man. I think even if they didn't restructure, I think staying with the WWE was not in their best interest. Even if they had got to keep their money as it was, I just think they were gonna just sit on the sidelines and do nothing. So I don't see a
I
scenario,
was
right,
muted.
where me, who is a rabid, you know, longtime WWE fan, I'm obviously, I'll admittedly I'm always gonna lean WWE. I didn't see a situation where I would want to see them anymore in the WWE. I
Listen, and
just
I'll tell you this, right? That is something I can respect. Okay, if you're tired of the act, if they're over or not over, but you know what I mean, like go home type heat shit, fine, I get that. But this idea that Matt put out that says that he calls bad business, that if you hire me on a deal, but I haven't been on your show at all this year, wouldn't you want to restructure my deal? But the thing is that that's my fault. Here's the thing. Yes, I would want to restructure your deal if you're calling in, if you're taking vacation days all the time, if you're calling in sick, if you're leaving early. Yes, I want you out. I want to restructure your deal. You are not worth it anymore because you are not dedicated to the show or to me or to the money or
see,
whatever.
but
But
that's
at the end of the
that's the
day,
thing, Mario.
if I put Matt on ice and I leave him on ice, despite the fact that he has the ability to help propel the show forward, that's me. That's my fault. I'm breaking my word. There's no
But I
part
don't
of the
think they
deal where
had
it
the
says you have to
ability
be
to
on TV
propel
X amount of
anything
hours or else
forward.
you're not going to get paid, right, Mex? There's no deal. There's no part in the contract that says you have to be on SmackDown or Raw X amount of
No,
hours every
and see
quarter.
see that's not where I'm coming from with it though. To me, I'm like, honestly, I think they got a better look, at the end of the day, I don't think they got a better exit than a lot of the other people did. They weren't just flat out cut. Um they were at least
Given the
given the
respect
respect,
to choose. Yeah, that's a good point. No, that's a fair point.
you know. Um, because I think I honestly I'm surprised they didn't get flat out cut. I like I said, I thought they got a few more years out of this than they really could have. But even still, that them even offering to restructure and try to work something out with him instead of just cutting him, I think to me that shows how highly they do still feel about Woods and Kofi.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I'm going to say this. There are aspects of this that probably went down differently for the New Day as they did JC Mateo, as they did Tanaloa, as they did
Or even
Kairi
our
Sane,
truth a year ago.
or even our truth a year ago. Well said. Great point. So I see that, and you're right. And by the way, we don't know what went down behind closed doors, right? We don't know if Triple H or Nick Khan said, guys, thank you for the millions and millions of dollars you brought into this company over the last decade plus. Here is a bonus of whatever, or we're going to give you severance for the next year, even if you sign with somebody, or like whatever. I don't know. All I know is that right now it feels like TKO Endeavor is not even turning it into, is already just like every single major billionaire company out there that eventually starts to give a lot less shit about their employees. And that's just the nature of the beast. You can't get big enough to worry about everything and everybody.
I
That's the
I
truth.
don't
And so here
agree.
we
I
are. Here,
I
but
can see
how do you
Vince
not
doing the
agree? It's
same
like everybody's
because
being disrespected left and right by these motherfuckers. Everybody. People that have been the straightest shooters with WWE, people that have been the most loyal to them. And yet it's like,
see,
here's
but
a big fuck
that's the
off.
thing is uh number one, I can see Vince. If Vince was still around, I think honestly, I think if Vince was still around, they would have been gone sooner. I
Nah,
I
you're
I, I
tripping. You're
believe that.
tripping. Nah,
Yeah, I
he
think
could have cut him a bunch of times when they got stale, and he never did. He loved him some New Day,
I
bro.
I
Bro,
didn't think
I
he
think you're
really ran out of
forgetting, Specs.
steam.
I think you're for this is one of those rare times where you're forgetting, champ. These are the guys that hosted WrestleMania, the job that's reserved for Kim Kardashian, for John Cena in
Yeah, no,
retirement. That
100%.
is
But that's
what
what I'm
they did.
saying.
They're a
That
huge act. They were.
they did those, and now they're at a point here in the last 2 or 3 years where I feel
Oh
like
shit.
they were just, they ran their course. I honestly I could see Vince kind of doing the same thing, or flat out cutting them. And see here's the thing, Mario. Um, and and look, man, you know, is it right or wrong? I'm not here to argue the morals of it, but it's like any job, man. Like, I tell young guys all the time, man, you're loyal to you and your family and not this company, right? Whether it's a
Very well said.
job, whether it's, you know, and you can't take it personal, man. Like I'm
I
gonna
think
continue
that's
to
so
say,
much easier to say though, because the nude, it's like, how is it not personal for the New Day specifically, right? Because like you agree that the New Day and like other acts that are as big as them, they help contribute to this fucking monster that is the WWE. You know what I'm saying? And it's like at the end of the day, they take what they can from the best of them, use them up, and then I don't know. It's like, hey, we'll get you in the hall one
yeah,
day, or yeah,
but
you'll be
Mario,
back. And it's just like, I don't
it's not
know.
like they were making the company all that money and they were getting $100,000 a year, man. You know, them dudes are well off. And look,
Yeah, but
you're
the
right.
company's
I'm never
making
gonna
money hand over fist. I'll guarantee you the
listen.
company's margins are much better than the
But
fucking New Days.
you know that coming into this, hey, look, I know whether it's okay, like right now, Dak Prescott probably generates tons of money for the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Absolutely.
Like who's another Aaron Judge, Shohei Otani. He's got almost $1 billion contract. How much money do you think he's bringing into the Dodgers right now? You know,
Yeah.
that's what the trade off is. You know what I mean? We're gonna platform you. You're gonna make a ton of money. We're gonna make a ton of money. That's where I think me and you differ is and it's not me defending the billionaires. It's also me not feeling bad for millionaires. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that, but for me, again, I think it is the um relationship between management and workforce, right? Like, okay,
Right. Okay.
I like real quick,
I can see that.
I have a education that separates me from a lot of people. However, I grew up blue collar. My dad, my grandfather, my uncles, my brother, they're all barbers or blue collar workers. So at the end of the day, I relate in that way. And also,
Mhm.
I've had a bunch of family work for major companies, and I know the lack of loyalty that is shown. I know that once a company gets so big, they bring in their fucking camaradas, and everybody just takes over, and all the people that were there before get split out. Like, there's so many unfair aspects to a company getting bigger that you cannot control. But it's this level of respect and the perception of respect. Because again, I don't go to McDonald's because they're a $1 billion company. I go to McDonald's because I like chicken nuggets. I mean, in general, whatever. I don't go to Taco Bell because they're a $1 billion company. I go because I like their Power Cantina bowls, right, with steak. Ultimately, if I knew these companies were like calling their workers like the N word, or like just like treating them like shit, I would morally stop going there. That's not what this is, right? This is different. This is me looking at a business that used to have a heart and a soul. And I don't mean that in terms of caring. I mean that in terms of community. Vince priced things for family. Vince called us a community, the universe. This was a collective. And now it just feels like we're numbers on a board. And
Now,
I honestly don't think that it's ever felt this cold before. And even when wrestling was this cutthroat business, it was away from the fans. We didn't fucking know who was getting death threats and who was being threatened to fucking be held over a bridge if they, took any more fighters from the territory. That shit was all out of our shit. We didn't know. These were just regular hustlers, right? These were fucking people that probably could have been in the mob that were working in the wrestling business instead. Now we have corporate conglomerate people who come from think tanks, who tell these people how you think, Mex, and how people like you think. They put us into categories. They say, oh, well, where's Mex from? Okay, how many people live in his town? What's his race? What's his religion? Okay, well, then he's going to like this. We're going to give him this. We're going to make him like this. Fuck that. I don't give a fuck where anybody's from or what anybody's done. Wrestling has a blueprint, and it's as clear as day. So what I'm saying is that it feels like WWE is no longer in that blueprint, and now they're headed towards a place where it's like, okay, what can we do on TV that'll sell out the game, that'll sell out those shirts, that'll push that merch for Danhausen? What can we do?
I think you're mixing two different things, because I 100% agree with you when it comes to the perspective of us as a consumer,
Mex
right?
hates Greg Olson. Hilarious. My bad. Go ahead.
Hey, fuck Greg Olson. It's a terrible person. Although Greg Olson does shit on Travel Ball and how it's stupid at this point, so I'll give him respect there, because Travel Ball is, first of all, we want to talk about scams and money making scams and hurting families' pockets and blue collar pockets. Fuck Travel Ball. Um,
Yeah, baseball is becoming
it's a
like an elitist
it,
sport.
it's a bunch of dudes, and it's usually the dudes who sucked at baseball or never played that want to make their own team to make sure their kid plays, because their own fears they weren't good enough, and neither were their kid. But that's the besides the point. I think you're correlating two different things, Mario, because again, as a consumer, I totally agree, right? I totally agree. Um, they've outpriced it. They're not that way with Vince. I don't think that ever applied with Vince when it came to the talent, right? Because Vince was a businessman. And it's funny, right? You've kind of defended Vince and how this $1 billion corporation now has come in and take over, and they've just reneged on deals, and they're not looking out for the talent, and not honoring their contracts, and that's just hilarious to me, coming from the world's biggest Bret Hart mark, to act like this has never happened
That's
before.
what Matt said too. He said, I know what this is about. He said, this is about Vince breaking that deal with Brett before the screw job, ain't it? So yeah, I mean, that was
It's this is this,
obviously fucked up.
and it's not even really a
But
shot at you. It's just to sell you. This isn't as far as when it comes to the talent.
no, but see, that's
This
what's
isn't new.
different is that when that happened, WWE was going out of fucking business. They
No,
literally could
and I
not pay
get you,
Brett.
but
They're making money hand over fist. They're breaking records left and right. And here's the thing. Yeah, you can cut people like Kyrie Sane. You could cut people like the Wyatt Six, right? Even though there were acts that some people liked and or whatever, people are going to get mad. That's going to happen. Again, I'm talking about legacy acts, right? Like if you cannot be a franchise that the players can expect to have their jerseys hung at the top of the stadium, I don't think you're a franchise worth playing for. I think
But
that's
see,
where it boils down to.
that's
Like,
like, but
what are
see,
you worth
you
wrestling
see
or
now you're
WWE?
trying to like it's not like we're saying the New Day was ass. They're not Hall of Famers. They're gonna the New Day. I would think when they go in the Hall of Fame are gonna be one of the main two acts. You know how they have the main one and then like a kind of like a co-main Hall of Fame. They're no less than a co-main Hall of Fame act, right? When their time comes. Um, but I just so it makes me wonder, Mario, like what if the negotiation was, hey, we're gonna put you guys under a legend status now. And they didn't want to
Mm,
do that.
damn, I didn't think of that.
Because you keep using the term legacy act, and maybe that's what WWE was saying. Hey, guys, your time as a prominent full time act is up, but we want to use you as legends. And maybe these guys feel like they still had more to do in the ring.
See, that I could rock out with, right? That I could rock out with if WWE came to them and say, "Hey guys, um, we don't have any real plans to use y'all anymore, and we love y'all. Y'all are WWE lifers as far as we're concerned. So we want to just make y'all more of like a, off-screen role, ambassador type shit. That Titus O'Neil role, right? And it's like that could have been cool too if that's what they want to rock with. But if they were like, nah, we still got wrestling in us, that's a whole different thing, right? But again, it's the optics of this all. It's not like this is just a situation that's happened many times before. Yes, there are cuts. Yes, post-mania cuts happen, but never in the way like we're starting to see them in a different way, right? Because before Vince would go out of his way to hide this narrative, right? To make sure that it was changed, that people didn't think badly of it, right? If they sent people back their stuff in trash bags, they basically apologized for it. Now it's these like ruthless numbers on a paper cut, which again is okay, but the legacy acts, those are the things that I think have to be protected at all. Like Biggio and Bagwell had no business ever
Mhm.
playing anywhere. They have
Right.
no business being anything other than Houston
Yeah.
Astro royalty.
Yeah.
If they are in
Even
the
Lance
stadium,
Berkman,
they
right?
should
Like
be happy.
Lance
And even Lance
Berkman
Berkman, fuck yeah. If you
playing
see
for the
Lance Berkman at a
Cardinals.
game and he's buying his own beer, fuck you. You're not a real Houston fan. You buy that man's
Yeah.
beer. You understand? It don't
Like,
matter that he made 1,000 times more than you.
I, I get you from a like I said, so and that's what I mean. So when this
He
when
said
this
that
came
doesn't
out,
work for me, brother.
as like a mutual thing, I really do feel like there's a like I said, I think they got more respect than because and I think WWE and I think even I think Triple H was like, hey man, we just don't have nothing for you guys. So you know
So
I
let let me ask you though about the other two names with JC Mateo and Tonglo. Actually, let's start with JC Mateo. So JC Mateo comes from the indie circuit, right? Wrestled in New Japan. Um, and he was a pretty hot commodity when he got hired.
bro
Everybody wanted him.
smoking hot.
AW was going after him. What do you think of JC Mateo? His ability to find work outside of WWE now. Do you think this WWE run helped him because the notoriety is there, but what did he do? Right. So what do you think
See,
about
because
it?
what was his actual name before this?
It was JC Mateo, indie name was Jeff Cobb.
There you go, Jeff Cobb. Um, no man, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he lost so much momentum and steam. I think it definitely hurt his value. And his run is just a complete failure by WWE. You're talking about um classics and hard hitting thumping matches when now Jacob's getting his push, but man, that was that was a missed opportunity to put that in front of them because they had some great matches, Jeff Cobb and Jacob Fatu. And I'm gonna be honest, Mario, I couldn't tell you if I've ever saw JC Mateo in the WWE have a fucking singles match.
I think he did like when he first got there,
See,
but
but
you
look
could
how
probably
you
you
had
could
to
probably
think.
yeah, oh no, you could definitely count on one hand, and you won't need all the
Yeah.
fingers
And
to count how many
and you kind of
TV
brought him
matches he had.
in. You brought him in because he was an old foil of Jacob, and then you just kind of
Didn't use them.
sat him in this group, and so that was just a complete. I don't know. I think if look, let's be real. The WWE is the big time, right? They're the Yankees, they're the Cowboys, they're the big leagues. But they got to have a plan for you, man. And it just seems like they brought him in, and I'm sure the Samoans put a good word for him, and because WWE is not afraid of some good old nepotism.
Yep.
Um, and Jeff Cobb got hired with no real plan, and that's kind of where we are with him.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. So final topic on this thing. Your
Real
um
quick though,
huh?
Tom, is it Tomatonga is the one that was fired, right? Or which
It was it
one of the
was
Gorillas of Destiny, right?
yeah, it was one of the Gorillas of Destiny. It
So what do we
was
like? So I'm just curious,
Tongaloa.
is as to why cut one and not the other though?
Why cut one and not the other? You said?
Yeah, because I thought they've always primarily been a tag team, from my understanding.
Well, they've always been a faction and they have been a tag team before, but both of them had single runs. The thing is this,
Mm.
right? I think Tamatonga always represented something more. And I think Talatonga is something they see more of as well. I think that the rest of them, even including JC Mateo, were always guys that they brought in just to beef up the faction, right?
They kind of
Um,
came in as a package deal, but not really the attraction. The
Exactly. I mean, I
Yeah.
listen, I wonder if they would have been cut or what WWE would look like if Bronson Reed ended up joining them and never got hurt. There are a lot of what ifs here, but ultimately Tongaloa I don't think is a huge loss, right? Even though I do think he'll get work. JC Mateo wasn't really doing anything. I think he'll get work as well.
Yeah.
And the New Day in AEW, I think, is what everybody is going to hope for. But honestly, I'm not convinced they do it. I'm not. I'm not convinced they go. Certainly not right away. I thought Karrion Cross would go right away. I really did. But we
Oh,
haven't seen that
see,
yet.
it's one of those things, right? Where, like I say, that's why I say the 90 days is not a bad idea because, like we just said with JC Mateo, you went somewhere that didn't have a plan for you, you know, which, if Tony Khan wants to feel free to steal my booking ideas and actually make a show
Bro,
relevant, go
yo,
ahead.
yeah, you're in the doghouse over here in Infighting FX, champ. You done fucked up the game. Before we get to this last topic, I want to let y'all know that Supermex over here is who you have to blame. With the recent
Oh, yeah.
reporting that is going on, that
I don't mind.
Stephen A. Smith is potentially up for a WWE TV role. That's right. That's right. Uh, let me put this up here.
Let me have a
So,
second here. I know folks who know me never thought you'd see the day. So clip this if you'd like. This is probably a once in a blue moon type of thing, but I am going to apologize. I told Mario yesterday jokingly that the man on the phone was Stephen A. Smith was on the phone with Jacob Fatu and Royce Keys, and Mario told me to not say those things out loud because WWE is dumb enough to do it. And
hey, he made that
shortly after
comment too
that,
before. Yeah,
and shortly after
you
that,
had predicted that before too, like last week or something.
yeah, and shortly after that, we get the report that Stephen A. Smith is set for an on-screen role with the WWE, and may God help us.
Yo, and
I
that's
would.
because like I it's funny because you have a very skilled eye when it comes to seeing the work. And I don't remember what interview it was. I know it was like heading towards Mania, right? And Stephen A did something and he made some comments like Paul Heyman or something like that. And then you came out and you started saying that, dude, Stephen A is going to be a character. He's going to come out. He's going to be a character on WWE TV. Uh, Let me ask you so real quick, because now we're here, right? Too late. You spilt the fucking milk. No putting it back in the milk jar. I don't know. But let me ask you, how will this work out? Could Stephen A. Smith work in WWE? I mean, Pat McAfee had his moments. What do you think a guy like Stephen A. Smith can do?
Um, Number one, let me just say this: I would much rather have Pat McAfee back, fucking up main events. And I'm a Pat McAfee fan, but he fucked his main event up. Then I would have Stephen A. Smith doing anything other than being a guest in the WWE.
Has he been a guest
I do
before?
feel like that's what I'm saying. Well, you know what I mean, like just popping up in the
No, no,
crowd,
no.
maybe.
Exactly.
But I do feel like based off of the things we've seen on social media and on First Take, it's gonna be an interaction with Danhausen.
Mm, probably right.
Um, or I mean, maybe not his sole purpose, but at some point he will have an interaction with Danhausen. Um, Look, Stephen A is the kind of celebrity that most times, right, Mario, they bring celebrities in and they come in as a like a baby face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Baby face pop. I think Stephen A is a guy that you can bring in as a heel, and the only problem is I just don't know who you put him with.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's something I haven't been
Um,
able to.
like who? Because you would think maybe like a Trick Williams, but it seems like they're going with Lil Yachty there. Shout out Lil Boat, and
Yep.
also Trick has kind of been forced into the babyface role. The crowd
Yeah,
really
he has.
loves him. Um, maybe I don't know. I don't know where you put him. I don't know what you do with him in an on. Or maybe do we get a Adam Pierce or a Nick Aldis back in the ring and you make him like a GM? Is Stephen A going to be willing to come in and week out? That I can
Yeah,
see.
that's yeah, because like when would he do it, right? Because it would have to be after the NBA season, obviously. I mean, they're saying SummerSlam, but it's like he is an NBA guy, but he does kind of everything. It would be like right before football picked
And
up.
don't get me
So
wrong,
I think
he
he
like
could
Pat, he flies all over the place.
low
He's
boat.
fucking everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly. He's everywhere.
so I don't know. I don't know where you do it, but I do think he has to be a heel. He will not work as a babyface. Um, yeah, just I don't know, man. I really don't know, Mario. I don't know what you do with him. I personally I don't want to see it. So
Yeah, I
obviously
don't either.
I did as a Dallas Cowboys fan. I don't want anything good for Stephen A. Smith. I hope he loses all his contracts. I'm glad the Knicks are going to lose in the second round of the playoffs because that's what he deserves. Um, so I don't know, man. But I don't know what you do with him. But I do know it has to be as a heel. I don't think he works as a baby face in the company.
Hold up real quick, Max. I'm gonna grab a bottle real quick. Or I was
Well,
gonna ask
well,
you. You want to jump off?
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, I'm just gonna run and grab a bottle. I was gonna ask you though, if you could just chop it up. Do you
Yeah, I
think
got you.
that the Roman Reigns story has any validity now that we're here today? Will they ask him to restructure? You think?
I think he
Would
already
that be a bad
has.
move?
No, I think it's a first of all, I think it's a good move. I think that's why Brock has decided to bounce out so fast. I think the days of just coming in as a part timer are over. Um, and I think honestly, I think we're gonna find out that Roman has already restructured, or I think there was at the very minimum, I think there was an agreement that was like, hey, if you want to be the champion again and you want this run, we need you here on a week. You don't have to do house shows, but
Uh,
you need to be here on a weekly basis. On
uh,
a, you know, I think Roman is the type of guy that they said, hey, look, we know you're this big attraction, but we're not interested in doing part timers. We need you here every Monday. And if you're going to be the world champion needs to be on TV weekly. Um,
yeah, I agree, but here's the
I,
problem though, right? You know what happens in sports, and that's why I'm glad you're going to be able to be on here to talk about this. Salary caps, right? People think that salary caps work in a way that's meant to not punish a team, but essentially like control, right? Like teams that
it
are
it
richer
eliminates
markets, right?
issues like you're having
Exactly.
with the Dodgers.
Exactly. But truthfully speaking, the market is also set up in a way so that it doesn't explode, right? Because you cannot have a situation where, you're in a position where 2029 is going to be like 4 or 5 like different, fucking franchise free agents, right? And so it's a situation where WWE's restructuring what the ballpark is, right? So it's like certain people only made as much as Hogan, right? That was it. And then time went on, and people only ever made as much as Stone Cold, and then The Rock, and then Cena, and it keeps going up and up as we as an economy go up and up or whatever. Uh, Ultimately, that those kinds of parameters on how much they spend will ultimately affect what talent is used, can be brought in, can be kept. So in that kind of way, do you see any issues that could arise?
I don't
Seth
think so
Rollins
because
or any of these guys?
no, I don't think so because and I know a lot of fans don't like to hear this, right? But at the end of the day, WWE has looked over to AEW and said, look, Tony Khan will shit out money, right? But they're not competition. And so far, man, just honestly speaking, they really, even when they land a big name, they really haven't been able to capitalize with it, right?
Yeah.
Um, that's not to say that they can in the future, but at the moment, until proven otherwise, I think WWE looks at them like, man, look, you know, you could have whoever you want. You guys had CM Punk and fucked it up. Seth Rollins will be an interesting one, but I think TKO has decided we're going to reset the market here. We're going to settle things back down. It's kind of like, when Matchroom or PBC came into boxing and they kind of forced up everybody's pay elsewhere. And Top Rank was like, hey, if you want to go over there, that's cool. And look at Top Rank now. They've kind of settled back in. And now Top Rank is kind of back to being the top dog US promotion. That's kind of what's happened here in wrestling, I feel like, where you know, AEW came in. They came in with some energy. They came in on fire. Is that Sasha Banks I just saw in a bar rescue commercial? Um,
Shut up, for real?
I couldn't tell. Let me rewind 1 second.
That's crazy.
Sasha's gonna catch my eye, big dog.
Oh
But
yeah.
um, it just seems like they're like, hey, okay, we had competition come in. We had to raise the prices. We had to offer some more incentives that we weren't normally ordering. And that's kind of the market is settled back down, but now they gotta get buys back under control. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
That's
100%.
that's my opinion, and I genuinely don't think they're afraid of losing a guy like of anybody. I think
Yeah,
because they're such a big corporation now.
I'm going to put it this way. It's not that I think you're right. They're not afraid of losing anyone. I think that they're not afraid, but their concern is when they lose anyone, right? They don't want to lose our truth while he's in the middle of one of the biggest media cycles of the year, right? They don't want to
That is
lose
her.
that. Is it really?
Yeah, it's
That's
her.
awesome.
Um, you know, um, I do think it's gonna turn off a lot of big names. I think we'll see a lot of guys maybe retire sooner than they would have. I think I think that's the thing is like so it's kind of like you were saying, right? Like your whole argument today has been is WWE's was notorious for taking care of their legacy acts, right?
Yes.
And the new brass, I mean, like I said, it started really with our truth, right? Where they were like, hey, we know you guys love this guy and he's funny, but like, what the fuck are y'all doing with him? Why are we paying this guy to just, you know, because look now, even though they're not doing what we'd hoped with our truth, he's more active in the ring than he was, you know.
Yeah, no,
Um,
and that's the thing. It's like, look, if AEW can survive, this is going to be like a back and forth tug of war. As long as both companies exist, right? That's always how wrestling's been. The thing was this, right? What TKO, Endeavor, WWE, what they all have to understand is this: you can't know who's done and when they're done, right? You would have sworn Hogan was done. You would have sworn that the red and yellow was played and nobody was going to like it anymore. Nobody's going to give a shit. But you sent that guy on out and he found something else, right? So it's like,
mhm.
I could see somebody like a Seth Rollins or somebody else like heading that way, but it's just like Alex said, eventually someone from there is going to head on this way. You know what I mean? To WWE. And it's like MJF, when that
Yeah,
day happens, that's going to be one of the biggest, moments in this
yeah,
whole
and
battle's history,
so and it's so, but see that's the thing, and it's all about these guys as independent contractors and they're gonna see because I'll be honest with you, and you know me personally, Mauro, and you know that I'm a huge MJF fan. Even now, he's lost a ton of momentum. Um, and previously, I would have thought, man, that's not going to be an NXT type of guy or anything. But my fear now is if MJF doesn't get going momentum wise, they'll bring him in as like a mid carder, and MJF is not a mid carder.
nah, I don't even think well, yeah, here's the thing. He won't go to NXT, right? There's no way.
No, but even in the big,
No.
even on
Oh,
the
yeah,
big
yeah. In the main
roster,
card. Yeah. No, I knew what you meant, but it just came to my mind. I was thinking, wait, they wouldn't send him NXT. Nah, they wouldn't send him NXT, right?
yeah, but
Or you
like
think they would?
because of how things have gone, I don't know. I mean, MJF was the darling of the wrestling world, you know, heading into 2024. And I don't think he's that now. I mean, I think obviously he'd get over huge in WWE, but I don't think if he was to debut right now today, I don't think it would have had the impact it would have had 2 or 3 years ago.
I don't know. I don't know. Because here's what I'm thinking, right? It's different when you see people in different, you know what I mean? Because it's like, look, if you want to be a star, right, and you're Justin Bieber and you're 15, what do? Well, you start putting yourself on places, mediums where a bunch of eyeballs are going to see you. So right
Hmm.
now, I think that MJF getting over to the amount that he's gotten without WWE's massive PR machine shows you just how big he is. So if MJF's going to get to that next level, that Stone Cold, Rock, Hogan, it's only going to be when he goes to WWE. That's just the
Now,
absolute truth.
here's my counter, though, right? Here's my counter. And here's why I say if
Damn, he
he's
said,
going
I
to
have a
go,
fear that MJF will sink with the ship and never jump. Nah, he ain't that guy. He's going to
I
have a
don't think so.
teary goodbye. They're going to do it right. He's going to say goodbye
Yeah.
to AW proper, and then he's going to go have his run in WWE.
Yeah, look, I think they offered MJF a an amount of money he just couldn't refuse. Nobody blames him, but there's no way that guy doesn't also want to, but won't end up in WWE. Um, Here's my counter to what you just said, though, Mario. Is what we've learned about WWE fans is they're not wrestling fans, right? And
Mm,
what I
well
mean
said.
by that, right, is they're WWE fans, right? And what we learned and what The Rock learned a very hard way is you with WWE fans, if you don't give them what they want when they want it or in a timely manner, they will turn on you. Um, Perfect case in point was we were waiting on this Rock Roman match for 3 years. Then when we wanted Cody, you tried to insert yourself and they turned you away. I I don't think it will, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that I feel like we can see that happen with MJF, where it's like, hey, bro, we wanted you and you kept bullshitting, so now we moved on to the next new flavor.
Yeah,
Um,
no,
I think
I
you genuinely run a risk of that.
yeah, I see that too. But here's the other part. Like, what's the world gonna look like, right? In like 4 or 5 years, what's wrestling gonna look like? All I know is that somebody said this the other day on a podcast. They said wrestling's always been cyclical. We have these huge runs
100%.
for a few years and then it comes back down. And then we have a huge run. We're just one major feud away from picking right back up to where we were. But I do think that the direction is good. Let me ask you one last thing before we hop off. You've talked a lot about not root we didn't use the word ruthlessness, but let's just use it for now because I can't think of another word. The ruthlessness of the corporate structure of having to cut people because it makes economic sense. So you said New Day hadn't been used and the IP wasn't worth what they're paying for. Who's next on that list, do you think? I mean, maybe not next week or anything, but sometime between now and next WrestleMania's post guts. Who else do you think would be on that list? Who's a guy that's been who are a guy or girl or girls or guys who've been around long enough that they could be the next on that chopping block?
Um, I can see Alexa Bliss being gone.
That would piss the fuck out of
Yeah,
her fan base.
that's a name that I can just see because she's with Charlotte, but she's kind of just there, you know. She came back and it was huge, and she brought the doll. She never interacted with the Wyatts. She's kind of like not really a character anymore, and now she's just kind of Charlotte's like follower, which is fucking weird. Um, I can see her being gone. I can, uh, trying to think. I'm just trying to think of the roster real quick.
Here's the thing, real quick. I was actually trying to set you up for this one. Because was it you or Matt? One of y'all said Damian. You were surprised Damian
Oh,
Priest
yeah,
wasn't
no.
on that.
Okay,
That
so
was
if you
you.
remember, I said it even back when we saw them come to
I
town in
know.
February.
I remember. No, that's what
I
it made me think of right away. I was like, oh shit, he said
yeah,
that. And I thought he was fucking crazy when he said it. And now it's like, is he next? Fuck.
I'm shocked that he's still here. I mean, I think the fact that he has a belt with our truth is like the only reason he still has a job.
Mm.
Um, because poor Damian Priest, I'm a Damian Priest fan, but man, that world title run just did not work, and he's never recovered. He's Yeah, it's unfortunate. Not that he's not talented, not that he doesn't have charisma. It just didn't hit, you know. Um, but if we're talking like a long term guy, I think Theory will be gone. I don't even with this vision thing. I don't. I just he's just there. It didn't work, man.
That's a good point. That's a good one. Here's the
And
thing. Oh,
oh,
go ahead.
you know what? Here's a wild card. I'll throw you a wild card, right? Uh, even though he's kind of new to the main roster, what's his name? Carmelo Hayes.
Oh shit. Carmelo Hayes. Yeah, I could see that. I
I could
could.
see him being gone.
Everything that I
And
thought Carmelo Hayes would get as far as like over, Trick Williams has gotten. Like that whole like energy rush
just
that
stole the
Carmelo
thunder.
Hayes seemed to he stole the thunder. Well said. That's the way to say it.
And
He stole the thunder.
and I'll
Damn,
say
that's the
this.
Finn Balor. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
doing the
was just
Benefited
fixing to
stream
say
on
that.
YouTube later.
I was just fixing to say that I can see by next year's summer Finn Balor being in AEW
See, and that to
or
me
Prince Devitt.
speaks to this whole narrative we've been talking about. It's like you can't be in WWE and feel safe unless you're like 3 or 4 guys. And it's like you could be being built up for a world title match and literally be cut the next month. That's where I'm at. That's where it's again, because y'all said it the whole show.
Oh,
This has
you know
happened
what?
many times before,
There's
but
another one right here. Uh, and I think this one has actually been more obvious. We just overlooked him. LA Knight. I can see
damn,
LA Knight being
I
gone.
could see LA Knight for sure. Bro, LA Knight. Yeah.
They
I could
just,
see him
for
also going to
whatever
AEW
reason,
too.
they just have refused to even try it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, at least with Priest, right? You gave him the shot and it just didn't work. I mean, they they don't even want to bother giving LA Knight the shot.
At all. At all. Yo, Matt said,
And I don't
unless
know if
you're
he just rubs somebody the wrong way in the office, if
maybe,
he's maybe a
maybe.
prick. I don't know, but it's so weird that he gets the reception over and over that he does, and it just we're not even
You know,
gonna try.
I wonder if like their philosophy is like, let's keep this guy on the second tier as a bubble guy because that's why the fans keep cheering him. Like maybe they think that once they give him a shot, that's it, that he's blown up after that. I don't agree with that, but it could be what they
No,
think.
because
He said,
I
unless you're
think he
Samoan or your last name is Flair. Hilarious.
well and honestly, like we mentioned, like you kept saying last night, I think there's a real like we talk about how great the bloodline era was, but dude, we're talking about that was when the Hogan era started, right? It was like what 83 and it died off by 89, 90, right?
Yep.
Bro, the bloodline era was in 2020. It's middle of 2026. So we're kind of in that downslope, right? And I think they're looking. So the scary part, if you're a WWE fan, is this going to be the new generation, 2.0?
Word. Word. You're right. I think you're right. He said they wanted the male model to get over, not LA Knight. Yeah, that's true. Very true. But
Yeah,
listen,
they fucked him. Oh, real
hell
quick
yeah.
before you hop off, Mario,
Yeah, yeah.
and I feel just as a fan of his, really great to see Errol Spence. It's finally official. The speculation is over. Obviously, we've got to make it to the ring, so we're going to keep our fingers crossed. But man, Spence and Zoo, initial thoughts, Mario, from you.
Oh man. The fight being in Australia is a shock to me. I understand the economics of it and I get why they're doing it, but if I'm Spence, man, I really want a homecoming on my way back. I
So
really want to have a
I
building
have an
filled
interesting
with the
opinion
people
about
that
that part.
love me as much as I can. How do you feel about it?
So I have an interesting opinion because I feel like this is a
Shout out
this is a
Zilipatu.
fuck that
My
guy.
bad, go ahead.
I feel like this is a Spence testing the waters, right? Because I feel like he's as we all are, right? Because he's even said he's not upset at anybody for thinking it. I think he is also unsure what's left of him, right? And I think part, and then maybe this is just me, Mario, but I think part of this is like, hey, let's go over there because if this goes south, I never have to go through that in front of my home fans, in front of because Spence versus Crawford was so expensive, man, that like, I went solo because Matt just, couldn't afford $1,000 to sit in a nosebleed with me. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think part of that is like, hey, let's make sure we're there. We don't want to risk getting beat or getting stopped badly in front of the home crowd. So let's go in there with Zoo and see how that goes, and then we'll come home. If everything goes good, then we come home. I That's my take on it. Is you still get a big fight, big arena, but you don't have to take the risk of you know because he spoke a lot today in the press conference about seeing people disappointed in the crowd, and even though he was talking about um his opponents, man, I was in that crowd at T-Mobile Arena 3 years ago. There was a lot of disappointed Spence fans in the
Word.
arena. You know what I mean? There was a lot of us, and that was a shock. So I just feel like maybe they're it's a just in case this goes bad. You know
Let's
let's
have
do it
a
over
backup
there.
plan. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, that makes a lot of sense actually. And Matt furthers that by saying Spence wins, you bring him home, make more money. Zoo wins, you can still use him. Yeah, that's exactly what this is. I like this fight for
and
Spence. I think it's a
so
good fight coming back. I really do.
and here's my thing with Matt that we disagree on is I don't feel like Tim Zoo is a full on tune up.
No, nor do I. Nor do I at all.
See, and
He could
I
have
told
fought a
Matt,
much worse fighter. than this.
Yeah,
Much
and I
worse.
feel like this is still a very dangerous fight for Errol just because of the unknown. Like if you're talking about Errol at his best and Zoo at his best, I got Errol all day. But
Exactly.
Tim Zoo is the kind of guy where no, he's not a world beater. We've seen him stopped and beat, but if you're not on your game, Tim Zoo will beat you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Not only that, but look, it's like this, right? He also fits the matchup style that you want for this fight back, right? Because Zoo's going to be there to be hit. He's going to give you
Mm-hmm.
some resistance back. By all means, Spence should be the better athlete in the ring. He should be the more crisp guy in the ring in terms of skills. Like, there are a lot of things that he checks the box on. But one thing that he hasn't checked the box on that Zoo has is fighting. Right. And even though I wouldn't say Tim Zoo's last several years have been, anything to write home about or anything, but ultimately he's gotten in work, and Spence being out so long. And the last time we see him being the Crawford fight, that's an X factor. I'm sorry. Like, honestly, I would not have blamed him at all if he took like fucking Ocampo type of fight or some shit. Like somebody who, you know,
Mm-hmm.
isn't a name, you know what I mean? Like kind of what Joshua is doing right
Yeah,
now, what Fury did,
and,
right?
and it's kind of
And yet
crazy
he's
though, right?
going
Because
right after Zoo.
that's what makes you a fan of Spence, right? But like you said, that's the danger there. So it's a crossroads fight too, right? Because yes, there's been a layoff, but ironically, like Spence is the fresher guy. He has the fresher body. He's
Yes.
had
Oh
time
yeah,
to recover.
absolutely. He's recovered. Yeah. And we talked about
But
that yesterday. Go ahead. My bad.
I say, but right on the flip side of that, Zoo is the active guy, like you said. He's got the ring, because Arrow said he don't believe in ring rust, and I'm sorry, I just there's nothing like being under the lights in a real fight. We've seen it too many times to ignore it. You know what I mean?
No, you're so right. And I this that's one of the things, Mex, that I find separates hardcores from casual fans the most is not understanding what those bright lights do, right? And you have to understand them. You have to have fought in front of them to know what that comfort level is going to be. And we've seen guys, talented guys, freeze up in those headlights, be one of the best fighters, but then become a super average prize fighter. And that's what I think we've seen with Tim Zoo as well. A guy who a lot of people thought was going to be, maybe a second coming of his father. And instead, he's a fun fight. He's a guy who provides action. I don't know how much longer he should fight with the style that he has, but ultimately he is, a moneymaker guy where he's from. So,
Yeah,
this
and
works all around. This is a fight that checks all the boxes that you want to see from a guy like Spence.
look, man, as young as Tim is, the truth is, for either guy, it's win or go home.
Win or go home. Exactly.
But yeah, no,
Exactly.
I just had to get that out because I mean, it's gonna feel weird for me watching him fight on TV. I don't think I've watched the Errol Spence fight live on TV since like he fought Kell Brook. Um, me and Matt kind of went to all of them because we were big Spence fans. So I'm glad he's back. I hate that it's in Australia, but yeah, like Matt said, you bet the house on the smart money play because with Benavidez saying he's leaving at the end of this year from PBC, he's going to be a free agent, and obviously Matt believes he's leaving with Oscar after tonight. I don't agree, but um, I think the plan, if everything goes well for PBC, would be you you beat Sue in Australia, then you come back and you beat your male here in the States. And then I honestly I think if he picks up those two wins, I think you do see Spence and Canelo uh there at the end.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. If he can beat Zoo, that is a fight that I think works on so many levels as well. But I want to see Spence at 154. I want to see him handle the weight. I want to see him, see how his power transfers, and again, a guy like Tim
See, so
Zoo,
that's
it's
what's
the
interesting
perfect
is I
fight
don't know if
because
you
he's
saw
going to have
this.
resistance.
I don't know if you saw this. This fight is at 158. And he's talked about, fighting middleweight to super middleweight to 54. So I don't think Errol's belt chasing anymore. I think he's here to make some big paydays and get up out of here.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. What do you think of Alex? What he just said? He said, this has the potential to be a Timu Fundora versus Thurman, a sad beating of an inactive past his prime welterweight by a bigger, younger opponent. 50-50 in my book. I agree with the 50-50. Here's the thing. I don't think it'll be, here's the thing. If anything, I think Fundora Thurman will end up being the Timu version of this, because ultimately I feel like this is going to be a much more competitive fight. Much, much more competitive
Yeah,
fight.
just because these guys have slipped both enough, just enough, and I mean, eh, j- uh, this is a better style matchup for Errol than Thurman having Fedora was. Fedora was a nightmare style matchup for Keith Thurman. I think even in his younger years, you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do with Fedora? You know what I mean? What do you really do with that?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. You know what I mean? It's like such a tough situation. Oh, Matt said it best. Sean Porter fight. Hell yeah. My favorite Spence memory. What's a chocolate brownie? Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. So
I do
anyway,
like that
listen.
he's come back and talked some shit though. Like I said, if you see the press conference, he's been fired up. You know, I think he was done, Mario, but I think, and I'm just gonna say it, no disrespect to him, but when a guy like Tim Zoo is talking about he's gonna walk through you, I think that was enough for him to be like, hold up, I think you guys got to remember who the fuck Errol Spence is. You know what I mean? Because it's to me, it's always been like this: is Spence trash or is Crawford really that guy? It can't be both. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. It can't. It can't. No, not at all.
So, but
Yeah. Well said, man.
anyways,
You
appreciate you
gonna
for
be in the
letting me.
studio tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna come in there and show Matt how to put on a great show, how to be a star,
Hell yeah.
and be engaging and bring in viewers. So tune in for my clinic tonight on
Hell yeah.
commentary. And man, it's gonna be a good night of action. I'm really excited for Duarte's fight, and I think
Me too.
Resendez and Munguia is gonna be like a throwback type of
All
Mexican
action.
clash.
Hell yeah. Who you got in that
So
fight?
it's hard to say. I know Resendez looked good against Plant, but I don't know how much of Plant has really been left. I feel like he made his money and is kind of not fired up. And Manny Robles is historic for getting the upsets, but not being able to follow through in the following fights.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
So
good point.
we'll
That's a
see.
very good point.
I
All
think
right.
it's a 50
Well,
50 fight. So we'll see,
I'm gonna
man.
tap in with y'all, dude. I'm gonna tap in with y'all for sure. What time you heading over to
Hell
him
yeah.
to that place?
I'll probably be there around 8 or
Nice,
9.
nice. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get live that time too. Hell yeah. All right, man.
All
Well,
right, big dog. Well,
appreciate you, champ. Thank you for tapping in. I'm gonna give my outro and hop off.
all right, brother.
Champ. That was Super Mex. They call him
How's work, babe?
the what? I don't know what he said. He said something though. That was Super Mex. Shout out to him. The man, yo, Alex said Inouye is past his prime. Yikes. Alex, were I know you weren't up watching it because you thought it was gonna be a shitty fight. Um, it wasn't even a shitty fight. It just wasn't the fight that we all like hoped it would be, you know? Like it was one of those situations where it was a really exciting chess match. Although the last like 3-4 rounds were really good. If they would have started the fight the way that they ended the fight, probably would have been fight of the year, honestly. Matt said this guy sucks. It was a really good boxing match. That's exactly what it was. It was a really good boxing match. And I think that it showed Inouye's levels above Nakatani, which is to say that Inouye's above levels of like most people in this era, maybe even the last. The fight developed as it went on, and that is exactly what happened. And that right there is the kind of comment from a hardcore that understands those are the type of fights that are the highest level, right? Adjustments are made. Um, counters, not in the sense of boxing, counters in the sense of thinking ahead of your opponent, anticipating, visualizing, right? Those are the things that you have to utilize almost as a sixth sense in those kinds of situations. Hello? Oh, nothing much. Just I went live. You heard the New Day got cut. Where y'all at? Oh, why? Got it. Okay. Where do you want to? Where are you gonna go? You gonna come here? No, you're gonna go to the house. Baby, listen to me. Listen to me. I don't want you to stress at all. I am so excited for you and Dario to have fun. Don't worry about us, baby. I want to see pictures of y'all. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna be there at the house when y'all get back and we can take pictures then. Okay. But I would rather you focus on your night with Dario and not worry about any of us because this is your night. And I'm sure you look beautiful. Just send me pictures. That's all we want. We just want to see y'all.
Okay, I love you.
I love you too. I'll see you tonight. Okay. If you need anything, call me. Let me know. Text me.
Okay.
Okay. Love you. Bye. We were supposed to take pictures with Kins because today's her prom. But her mom ended up renting her a hotel room downtown by the water, and they did like her hair and her makeup. So we didn't know where we were gonna go. And so I don't know. I feel bad because I want to take pictures, right? But it's like I don't want them to. I mean, it's already 6:30. Like, I don't want them to be like held up or anything like that. Let me see. Oof, Mech said it. Bam beats Inoue. If Nakatani realizes he's the taller, longer fighter earlier, he would have been better in there. I agree. Shushu beats Inoue. Maybe even Espinosa beats Inoue at 126. I'll tell you what, dude. That's a much tougher debate today than it was this morning. Are we supposed to approve of Dario? Yeah, I do. We do. He's come over. He's old school. His family, you could tell, like they're old school. They raised him old school. Cause when I was growing up, right? Like we knew, like you gotta play bitch to the uncles. You gotta play bitch to the dad. Like you gotta let them do their tough guy talk. You gotta let them, say what they're gonna say, right? The whole cleaning my gun bit. And you don't be disrespectful, right? Like you don't press them, right? If they say, hey, I'll fuck you up if you do something to my niece or whatever, you're like, okay, yes, sir. Like that type shit, right? I'm not like that because I'm not a fucking psycho drunk like the girlfriend's uncles that I dated. But I will say that this kid, he's his family's old school. They raised him old school. He's got respect, but um he's also very driven. Cuts hair on the side. Does car detailing as well, or like some specific aspect of it. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, this kid's 18. He just turned 18 and he has his life together much more than I did at like 24. So yeah, he has already paid off his fucking cars. He has a Mustang. What was crazy is the first time he came over to the house, I didn't know he drove the same car as my brother, my niece's, her dad. Her boyfriend and her dad literally drove the exact same white Mustang, the exact same. It was crazy seeing them pull up. And then his name's Dario, as my name is Mario, so that was also a little weird. But ultimately, yeah, he's a good kid, man. Here's the thing, I trust them. I trust them a lot. I look at them and then I think of me and my high school girlfriend, and like these kids are saints. Like I'm going to hell. I'm going to go to hell for sure. If certain parameters of hell are true and certain people go there for certain things, like premarital sex, then I'm 1000% going to hell. Okay. I don't think my niece and Dario are. I really don't. Maybe that's me being fucking naive. Maybe that's me, not wanting to, you know, be realistic or whatever. But ultimately, I honest to God, I trust them very much. So both of them, super smart kids who are probably going to do way better than I did and their parents. Or do we need to press him bad boy style? Hell yeah, dude. Fucking you come through and you be the Martin. You be the Will. I'll be the Martin. You be the Will. Let the boy live, Mex. Alex, hilarious. Y'all seen the Supernova Strikers thing on Netflix? I had it. I saw a little bit of it that night. Everybody was talking about how there was like 400 or 500,000 people waiting in the queue for the event to start. But there are a lot of positives to say about it for sure. It wasn't my cup of tea necessarily, but it was like high energy, you know. It was like it's for the TikTok crowd, I think. Not, and I'm not even saying Gen Z. I'm saying like the algorithm crowd that, you know, has to have a lot of things happening to keep their attention on the TV. You know what I'm saying? That's what that was. I'll tell you what, that Supernova shit was way easier to watch than WrestleMania. Fucking downtime every like 30 minutes for like 15 to 20 minutes. It was crazy. So I like the pace of Supernova. I'll tell you that. But yeah, I don't know. Not super something that I'm interested in. But anyway, guys, we're going to take off. I'm going to get ready so that I can be live by 8 o'clock, hopefully by 8. Remember, we will be live on at Infighting FX on YouTube, Twitch, and X, as well as IG on at Marmungia page. No, I don't think so, champ. You could try it. You could try it though. I could send you a link. Yeah, you know what? Hit me up in my DM and I'll send you a link. And if that doesn't work, then just let me know and I got you. I got you. Don't worry about it. But anyway, all right, guys. Until then, we will see you. Make sure you join us. Turn on your notifications. Hit the sub. Hit the follow. Make sure that you are part of the Infighting FX community, Infighting Exchange community. And like I said, go to YouTube, Twitch, X, TikTok. Subscribe to at Infighting FX and then at Marmugia on IG and Facebook. So until then, shout out to Alex. Shout out to Supermex. Appreciate you being in the chat. Appreciate Alex, as always. Great comments. And shout out to my boy, Machine Gun Matt, who was kicking it with us this morning. If you didn't get to check out the Inoue watch along, check it out with us. Why not? Turn it on, and then you turn us on, and you sync up, and then you're like, holy shit, this was hilarious watching with them, and also informative. So, you know, everybody wins. But anyway, until an hour from now, we will see y'all soon.